are shown as evil, vindictive, and stupid. And in the video game world, women are treated so horribly, I couldn't even get through the Google images to show you. It was so horrifying. It's impossible to find an advertisement that's not touched by Photoshop in America. And so these women are not real. They're basically aliens by the time they're done with them. And so time and time again, the media values appearance over intellect and character in women, and in everybody, really. So there's got to be some effects of these hours and hours of dangerous coverage, right? Well, here they are. 53% of 14-year-old girls in America say that they are unhappy with their bodies. Rates of depression have doubled in teenagers since the year 2000. And 65% of women say that they have had an eating disorder in America. And so this has got to be related to the media, right? And the last one's particularly interesting because eating disorders virtually do not exist in the developing world. And there are higher rates in America than anywhere else by far. And so eating disorders are man-made American products, and it's terrible because people are dying every day. So sexual objectification is the viewing of others solely as sexual objects without complex personalities or personal desires or plans of their own. And that's what we've just been talking about. And sexuality, of course, is not a bad thing. Sexuality is a great thing. But if you are constantly sexualizing people, it leads to self-objectification, which has been named an epidemic in our country. Self-objectification is the viewing of yourself as a sexual object. And so these girls are growing up being taught to see themselves as objects 24/7, and you can't have that because you don't see yourself as a person. There's this thing called body monitoring where girls think about their positioning and their appearance, how they look, and the average American teenage girl initiates body monitoring every 12 seconds. So think of the time that we could be better using. And people insist that things are getting better, but look at this, like if things are getting better, then they're not getting better fast enough. And taking this a step further, a study in 2006 showed a relation to men who watch sexually explicit and violent video games and music videos and men's acceptance of rape. So 1 in 6 women say that they have been victims of rape or attempted rape in America. And it's all part of this terrible cultural idea that women are objects, they're lesser objects. So these same trends that we're seeing in Asia and Africa, we're seeing here, they're just less blatant. Miriam Wright Alderman said, "You can't be what you can't see." So these girls are growing up, they're not seeing girls as leaders and empowered women in the media, and so they don't learn to see themselves as leaders and empowered women. So all this led to a revelation for me during my research, and I realized a couple things. First, I realized that you cannot separate the developing world from the developed world. In other words, all humans influence each other, and we're really not all that different. We just face different circumstances. I also realized that the US is both blessed and cursed to be considered an example by much of the world. Everybody watches America, so that's how I know that if we created a state without gender inequality, then I guarantee you we would see cultural change around the world because we influence everything. And I also realized that all these things I've been talking about that seem unrelated are all connected in the same cloud of societal ideals that penetrate every gender-based culture in the world. And that's how I know that we still need feminism in modern America. And I said feminism, which is a word that is so negatively connotated in our culture, and so wrongly connotated. Girls in America need feminism to save them from unrealistic expectation and constant sexual scrutiny. And boys need feminism in America too, because little boys are being brought up, taught that, they must be in control, they must be a man and not show their feelings. And it's a tremendous amount of pressure to have to be these strong men all the time, and it leads to lives of aggression, lives of maybe domestic violence, life of crime. It's not fair to those boys. And I know that I need feminism because even though I'm about as privileged as a girl in society can be, and I live in this adorable American town, I still see girls and people around me suffering from assault, from eating disorders, from self-harm, and self-doubt. And I know many of you might associate feminism with man-hating, and yes, there are some feminists who are man-hating, but like any movement, feminism has some extremists. But I assure you that it really could not be further from the truth. Women's rights is not a man versus women battle. It's a battle of humanity against itself. And you need both sexes to work together in order to create progress. You can't just have it be the women. So maybe I haven't convinced you at all, and maybe you still say, I don't need feminism, no one needs it, I don't like it. Okay, you don't need it. But you cannot denounce feminism as a movement and as a concept, because there are people out there who really need it. Like this girl in rural China, who is the only girl in her classroom, and walks 7 miles to and from school each day in order to obtain an education. She needs feminism. And this girl in Uganda, who's raped and impregnated at 14, needs feminism. This girl in Yemen promised to be married before she enters puberty. She needs feminism. And this girl in Philadelphia, 20 minutes from here, trapped in a prostitution ring, needs feminism. So she deserves better, and we all deserve better. And it's a big problem, so what can we do to fix it? Well, there are little things that we can do every day to fight sexism. First off, just being aware of it is a big help. And, not joking about it, not treating it like a joke. You can't joke about rape and eating disorders and feminism anymore because it's just too serious. And maybe recognizing that prostitution is never a choice, because a lot of people don't realize that. And the media. Support media that shows empowered women. Don't support media that doesn't. Maybe if you see a sexist commercial on TV, mention something about it. It has a particular effect if initiated by men. And maybe vote for qualified female candidates, and reflect on how you might endorse sexism in your everyday dialogue. And one more thing that is important to me is that we put so much power in people's appearances, when really, as we know, we've been taught since we were infants that it's what's inside that matters. So we shouldn't be shaming girls for wearing burqas, shaming girls for wearing suits, shaming girls for wearing nothing at all, because it's just clothing, and clothing does not constitute character, and they never have. And if you feel impassioned, here are some charities that you can look into. UNICEF, Amnesty, Rain, Polaris Project. They're great, and they do really good work. And if you're further interested, right here in January 23rd, me and Elizabeth Alt teamed up to create this charity concert. It'll take place here. And all the proceeds that we raise are being donated to the shelter in Philadelphia called Dawn's Place, that provides shelter and resources to women who are victims of human trafficking. The show is called Blue Hope, and I really hope you can make it because it's a great cause. And so I'll finish with this. As Americans, we have won a life lottery, and we have tremendous power and influence, and it's time to use it for something good. Remember, you can't be what you can't see. This applies to the nations as well. I still believe in American fundamentals, and I believe that we can be a catalyst nation for a worldwide revolution. So remember how I said that I would finish this presentation by revealing to you the single reason why all this occurs? Well, here it is. The reason this occurs is because there is an ancient societal misconception that women are weak. And it's so false, because women can never endure all this if they are weak. Girls of the world possess amazing potential waiting to be fully expressed. And like I said, the world can't meet that potential if half the population is suppressed. Like Hillary Clinton once said, women are the largest untapped reservoir of talent in the world, meaning that the answer to climate change and the cure for cancer might be resting in the head of an uneducated girl. So I'll let you reflect on that and imagine what a world without gender inequality can be. Thank you.